Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to episode 2 of the People's Podcast. Now, thank you guys so much for all of the support on both of our channels on the first episode. It's something for me that was very out of my comfort zone that I've never done on my channel. Cameron's done stuff like that before on his channel, but it did better than what I thought it was going to do. I'm going to put it that way. But we are going to be starting off this episode with just replying to some of your guys' comments from the first episode. As we said last time, if you have any more suggestions for any topics that you would like us to do, make sure to feel free to drop them down in the comments section. We read every single one and respond to them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the comments.
Right, so moving on to the comment section of this podcast. We're going to try and make this sort of a regular thing, so long as we get comments, obviously. And as I say, I just want to echo what Lyle just said. Thanks for the support on the first episodes of this podcast. I think I was a little bit disappointed, perhaps, with the views and that, but to be honest with you, I didn't really expect too much. But the comments that you guys left and the interaction that you gave, really, really do appreciate that. We'll get on to that a little bit more in a minute. Well, obviously, because this is the comments bit, so obviously we're going to start that. So if we just sort of go through some of the comments, I only got a couple of comments on my video. One from Callum, who said about me ranting, and I suppose I did rant a little bit in the video, and that's what he was expecting, so I suppose I delivered in that sense.
So my comments on the video were sort of based around the same thing, because I'm a football channel. My fans commented about football, and Sam says a topic from him, what he'd like to see is the amount of money that's getting pumped into football nowadays. A good suggestion right there, and that'll be something that we will definitely do in a huge football podcast that is going to be coming very soon. Harry Gamer 672 comments saying, for a topic idea, football players being paid a ridiculous amount of money, which is something that is definitely true, and all of the topics that were suggested on my video will probably all be put into a massive football podcast, as I've just said. Nikel is a very loyal viewer of mine. He says, great video, bro. Thank you very much. And the final comment from my comment section comes in from Harry, and he says, oh my fucking god, I love this so much. Love the concept. Thank you very much. And a topic I have maybe is that there's no passion left in football and it's all about money. So all of those suggestions will be coming in the football podcast. And he also says he would like to see Facecam in future episodes, which I think if we continue the podcast on for long enough and it becomes a little bit more popular, we will definitely look into do Facecam videos in the future.
100%, I agree. And a lot of what they were obviously suggestions all around that kind of money and football idea. So that's certainly something we need to look at doing for a podcast, because they weren't the only ones suggesting that. If we move on to, and appreciate all the comments and suggestions on your video. Thanks, guys, for getting in touch with the podcast. As for mine, we did get a suggestion on Snapchat the other day about a kind of comparing football to rugby podcast. So I like that idea. And hopefully that was James who suggested that. We'll hopefully get him on for the podcast and record that sort of next week and then get that out to you within the next sort of month. I think that'll be a really good sort of idea. Him a massive rugby fan, likes football as well. And, just sort of debate the differences, what's better and what's worse in each game. I think that's such a really, really good idea. As I say, I referred to Callum's comment, and then we have the big one, the huge one, as always, from KWE Tribute. And again, we just both want to say, and I think, Lara, you echo what I'm about to say here, thank you so much for the incredible comment. I mean, I'm used to them now because I get them regularly from you, and I can never say how much I appreciate that. I can't illustrate just how much I appreciate that. Nothing I like more when I upload a video than reading through your comment, and some absolutely fantastic points made in it, as well as the one that I really liked was measuring your success more from kind of that interaction and having, for example, it took him 2 hours to write the comment, and the fact that he took 2 hours out of his day to write a comment after watching our podcast. And I really, really like looking that way on YouTube. And don't get me wrong, I think we're always going to look at it in the view in that way, looking at views and saying we want a certain amount of views. I still think we will look at it that way. But it's certainly a really good way, and a positive way to look at YouTube. That was one thing I wanted to bring out of that comment live. You got anything you want to say?
I just wanted to go off the one question that I actually saw him post in his comment. And he says, do either of you regularly unsub from channels for whatever reason? Because when we're talking about our subs going down, me personally, I don't ever... I go through sometimes maybe a yearly thing where I just clear out my subscriptions. So I'd say I unsub from channels on bulk maybe once a year just to get rid of the people that I no longer watch. But
right,
I
so
wouldn't
a bit of a spring clean.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to unsubscribe to somebody, if you get what I mean, just after like one video. And how the consistent drop of subs for everyone. I was doing some research on Social Blade, just looking at YouTubers that come to my head, and they're losing subscribers as well. So it's literally just everyone. I don't know if it's YouTube basically, you know, the dead accounts, people that don't use them, they're just cleaning them out. But as I say, I do a spring clean once a year just to get rid of the channels that I no longer watch.
I honestly don't think I've ever well, I probably have unsubscribed to a show, but I can't remember unsubscribing to any channel. I don't know that anyone does. I agree with his point. I don't think anybody really does. It's a bizarre one, and I don't know the answer to why so many, you know, I understand what people say about, you know, the dead channels and the suspended channels and this and that, but, you know, I don't know. I think there's something fishy going on with that. I really, really do. But I don't have the answers to it. But no, I don't unsubscribe to fucking channels. I mean, yeah, I have in the past, I suppose, done a bit like what you're saying, but I can't recall ever sort of like, I've never like gone and seen something on my subscription that I thought, what a load of crap, and unsubscribed to the channel. I don't think I ever have.
So this is what I think we'll probably do like every episode. So if you drop a comment, or if you have any suggestions for topics, or just anything about the video whatsoever, we will then, you know, mention them in the next episode of the podcast, just to give our thoughts on what you may have said. But without further ado, thanks to everybody that did comment in the last video. Let's get into today's topic. So the topic from me today is going to be based around TV and how the online streaming sites, as such as YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Video, whatever it's called, all of these types of sites, are they taking over and becoming more popular than what TV is? Now, I want to kick this off with something that I get all the time from my dad, who pays for the broadband that you get with Sky. I don't know what other people have, maybe BT. It costs money to have the to actually have this stuff brought to your homes, and so you can watch it or whatever. But I used to watch a lot more TV than I do nowadays, because, you know, there's just Netflix, and there are ways around that you can work it. And one thing that I would actually like to say, this is going to be a much less structured podcast, because things are coming off the top of my head as I'm starting this on my little speech for the start of it. Broadband costs a lot of money. I don't actually know how much my dad pays. He always tells me that he's going to cut the broadband off, because...
Gotta love it.
Does your dad ever do that? Does he moan about how much it costs?
Oh, yeah.
And
the electric's the worst thing, actually.
Yep.
Don't touch. Turn the fucking lights off! That's usually what I get.
And the snippet of that is, it does cost a lot of money, and I presume if we had homes of our own that we have to pay the bills for, TV and the broadband comes in as a large chunk of that. Now, my mum and my dad, being older than I am, they watch TV.
That's getting a little bit wild there, Lyle.
My mum and dad are older than I am. They obviously have grown up with TV when it was the early days. But for people like the younger generation, me and you, Cam, I can't actually think of the last time I watched a program, tuned into a program on the TV, which wasn't, I don't know, a Man United game, football, tennis, I don't know, anything to do with sports, or going onto my smart TV just to use the remote to get onto YouTube or Netflix or anything like that. There's so many different things that you can do to watch stuff which doesn't coincide around TV. And I personally think I'm going to start this off by saying we're in an age now where technology is getting better and better. I personally think that TV will be moved online and stuff like that. So there will basically be no package that you have to pay for, but it's going to be moved online because you've got the BBC iPlayer, the ITV Hub. These are all catch-up stuff that you can do online, and you're not using your broadband or your TV or your Skybox to do that. It's all online. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Cam, do you think TV will die out completely and move online so you can watch the stuff that you have been watching online? Bit long-winded, but
no, it was fine. Your opening statement, as we'll call it, was pretty decent. It's such a big topic and it's so complicated. Do I think these TV things that we see in our room are going to just vanish? No. Do I think that a lot of stuff, like you say, will move online? Yes. The thing is now, as you look at anything, you think of anything, you speak about football. If the football ain't on the TV, you find somewhere online to watch it.
Yeah.
Everything you can watch online, whether it be legally, illegally, whatever, you can always find a way. It's like with, Conor, for example, Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, massive fight in the summer. Apparently it's going to cost about £100 on box office. I guarantee you I'll be able to find a HD stream for free on the night and won't have to pay a penny. And the majority of people will do that. So I do think I don't necessarily think TV's dying. I just think people are using TV in a different way. I still watch TV. I still watch stuff like Neighbours and stuff like that. I know that's gay and bent, but I love it. But I watch Neighbours. I do like putting the telly on and watching stuff. But I do watch a lot of Netflix. I don't watch as much telly as perhaps before. I think with our generation, I think we use a lot less telly. I think people our sort of age, probably, if you ask the majority of them, probably say they don't watch telly at all. I would say the majority of them would say I probably watch about an hour of telly a day max. And I watch most stuff on my laptop or it's on the telly. But like you say, it's the Netflix, it's the
as you say, with the broadband, there's like Sky Go. You stick it on your laptop, you stick it on your iPad. You're not sitting down to physically watch it on the TV. There's so many different ways around it. Say, for example, your broadband costs you £40 a month, right? And then on top of that, if you wanted the sports channels, that's an extra £20 a month. You're already up to 60. And I remember you used to
Sky
have
packages can cost up to if you want the fucking whole shebang, it's like over £100 a month.
It's ridiculous. And then if you want the Sky movies, that's more money. I used to have the Disney channels. You used to have to pay to have the Disney channels in the Sky package. And as well, you can do all of this stuff for free online. You can get the Mayweather fight for free. I was watching Man United versus Real Madrid on a blooming YouTube stream.
Yeah.
It's all for free. And if it is to die out...
Sorry, yeah, go on.
If it is to die out, I think it will be because you can do stuff easier and it's for free and doesn't cost you anything.
I don't think TV will die. I just think it will be used a little bit differently. I think you see it. Things are moving online a little bit, and that's what it's not necessarily to say TV will die. It'll just be a different way. TV will be used differently. It's like with news. Not many people watch the news now. A lot of people get their news from alternate media, from different news stations that are on YouTube and from stuff like that. People don't usually stick on the news. I mean, of course, there's loads and loads of people that don't. But and I know people will laugh when I say Alex Jones and the InfoWars, but that is online. It's a radio show, streams on YouTube, etc. It is not on cable telly. It's not on TV. You can't get it on TV. And it gets millions of viewers a week, millions of viewers a month. And it's bigger in many respects to, organisations like CNN and Fox News. It's bringing in better numbers than those news organisations that are on cable TV. So actually now, TV is not competing with other TV things. It's not, CNN competing with Fox News as such. It's more now CNN and Fox News competing with this alternate media that's doing news in a different way and doing news in a way that young people want to watch. I mean, young people watch YouTube instead of TV. Whereas I think 5 years ago, people would be watching TV at our sort of age. Now people are watching YouTube, they're watching Netflix.
That's what I
they're
used to
watching
do.
And I think it's important for companies and for... and this is why, you know, ads on YouTube are so clever, because a lot of them are specifically created for, you know, young people, because they know that's where they're going to get them. You don't really get ads on telly anymore. Not that I really watch adverts on TV now, because, you know, you can fast forward shit and stuff and record shit. But you don't usually get sort of ads that stereotypically before would have sort of been aimed at our sort of age group, because them ads are now on YouTube, they're on Netflix, or on here. That's where they're advertised. The same with politics. It's all done now. If you want to get young people's votes, it's all done on YouTube. It's all, because that's where young people are watching.
Yeah.
I think 8-year-olds, do I think 8-year-olds, 70, 60-year-olds are sitting there on YouTube all day? No. I think they probably sit there with the telly, and my mum and dad sit there with the telly on. But they get their news from other places. They do, you know, are starting to watch stuff on Netflix. You know, it is slowly changing. And, you know, is YouTube taking over from TV? I think is something that we wanted to bring up. Yes and no. I mean, I think it is for young people, not for old, you know, people of an older age as of yet. But I think there's certainly a change going on. Is it to say that this change will be permanent? I don't know, but it's certainly people's viewing habits are changing, because people want now. They want what's the word? I'm trying to think of the fucking word. They basically want it on demand, don't they? They want to be able to get home when they get home and watch whatever they want, and that's why we're seeing these iPlayers pop up and catch up TV. You can get catch up TV on your TV now and download the things and watch them. So I think it just means that, you know, it doesn't really matter what time something's on now, because, you know, people will watch it whenever they want. People want it on demand. People have got busy lives and can't just sort of sit down. And I suppose, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think it's a mixture, really. It's a good and a bad thing. You know, there's more choice. There's more whatever suits you, really.
My dad still watches a lot of TV. He can, you know, they've got the features of that you can record the stuff, and then he comes home and bulk watches it. That's probably his YouTube, if you see what I mean. He like bulk watches his stuff. Sometimes I go on YouTube and bulk watch different things, but I think, as you say, the elderly and the generations that sort of were first there when TV was first invented would definitely keep... They're not going to switch to watching YouTube, because the stuff that they want to watch is not necessarily going to be on there. But an example I have is, you remember BBC Three? That was on the, you know, it was obviously BBC Three, you know, they used to have some good stuff on there, but that moved online, and maybe other TV channels will probably
we'll definitely
follow.
See that. There's kind of lesser channels will move online, 100%. And I think the thing is, Netflix have created a model, and they weren't the first company to do it, but they're the first company to nail it, where a streaming service, a paid subscription, where you can get such a variety of stuff. And it is working a fucking treat for them.
Yeah.
They're making loads of money. Everybody knows what Netflix is now. And I can see that happening. I can see cable telly dying. We'll still watch stuff on TV, but we'll be buying Netflix packages rather than packages to get hundreds and hundreds of channels. We'll buy a Netflix package, or we'll buy Hulu, or we'll buy this, and we'll get our... I think that's what we're moving towards, definitely, 100%. And I can 100% see programs and stuff moving online, and, you know, with live streams of stuff now, they're popping up here, there, and everywhere. Live streams of big events. There's certainly a move. There's certainly a change, and I think it all comes down to the consumer, of course. What does the customer want? And customers seem to like this whole streaming thing. Not all of them, but
whatever makes their lives easier.
And I think even with young people, I see a lot of young, and when I talk about young people, I mean like toddlers. Rather than what we used to do, where we'd have the telly on and we'd watch CBeebies or whatever it is in other countries, you know, basically children's TV, and we'd have that on for however long. Now they're watching YouTube videos, and they're watching those fucking weird toy to shit videos and loving them. And that's even at that age, it's YouTube. So YouTube must be laughing. I mean, at the end of the day, although I say they must be laughing, but they seem to be making so many goddamn mistakes that
it's incredible.
They could really capitalise here, but they just seem to be off their game. And I think a lot of the reason why YouTube's off their game is because they don't have a particular competitor. Why do they need to up their game? Because it's YouTube. There's no other real comparison. It's like with WWE, funnily enough. You know, when WWE had competition, whether it was WWF, WCW, when there was that war going on, you had two good things going on. Yeah. Both had to pick up their game. Mm-hmm. TNA is no longer competition. Was it ever really competition? No. I don't know. New Japan possibly is the new competition for WWE, but pretty much they have a monopoly in regards to if there's a top star in Japan, they want him, bang, they're going to get him. I know I kind of changed the subject there, but you know what I mean? There's that monopoly. And if you haven't got competition, you don't really need to be at the top of your game, because at the end of the day, unless people are going to go, right, well, we're going to stop using YouTube, then it really doesn't affect YouTube at all. And we can't go, we're going to stop using YouTube, because we haven't really got another thing to do. Daily Motion isn't particularly fucking good. Twitch is more live stream, you know, so it's impossible really, and it just puts them in kind of a place where they don't really have to worry about shit, and they can relax and be lazy, really.
They can keep going over this endless amount of hurdles that they're running. They can trip over them, but no one's going to catch up to them, because they've just created an empire of just like endless amounts of... As well as that, have you seen the YouTube Kids thing that they've got?
Yeah.
It's literally like, what more could you want?
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest.
Exactly.
And it's free.
And it's easier for parents.
Yeah, you bang that on, they're fine.
Yeah, and they can have the fucking telly on. You know, and parents, a lot of parents, you know, just want a fucking easy life.
Yeah.
You know, they don't. They just want, right, just stick that on so I don't have to hear you. You can have that on, put your headphones on, I'm going to watch the telly. And it's bad, really, but, you know, because, you know, you should be playing at 3 years old. You shouldn't be fucking stuck with your head on a fucking thing. You know, you'll be doing that when you're like 10, 11. You don't need to do that thing. I'm not saying don't watch the telly. You know, I'm not saying don't watch the telly if you're a toddler or whatever. That you should ban them from watching TV and should ban them from this and that. But it's crazy when you look at, you know, somebody about 3, 4... who, you know, they'll be playing, they'll be having fun, they'll be doing whatever they want. And then as soon as you put the telly on, it's like they're a zombie. They turn into like a zombie, and their eyes are fixated, and nothing else matters in the room. And they are like this, like, you know, fucking zombie-like people.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary. It really is scary. Toddlers, kids should be having fun, you know, not just stuck in front of the telly. Of course they should watch the telly every now and again, but not all the fucking time, not 24/7. You know, kids need to play, kids need to develop, kids need to learn. Yes, you can learn stuff from telly, but just next time you see a 3 or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old in front of the telly, just look at them, stare at them. They are like zombies. And I know we can all be like that when we watch tellies, but, you know, it's really, quite frankly, it's shocking, because you see them playing 1 minute, you know, and you know what 3 and 4-year-olds play like. They're fucking crazy, running around, screaming, doing what they should do. That's what you should do at that age. And then put the telly on, and it's just like they just flick a switch and they're just zombies. Mm-hmm. It's not like us, you know. We don't jump around. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm not a normal type. It's just, it really is. It's extraordinary. But that again is going off topic a little bit, I suppose.
The next thing that I want to bring it on to is going for the films that you can watch on your TV. You can watch, I don't know, you can rent or buy the latest films that come out, I don't know, maybe the next week. So say, I don't know, the film Dunkirk, whenever that premiered, I don't know which date it was, could you then, say, a week later, you'd be able to go onto your Sky and then buy it, and then the DVD would be delivered to your door whenever... You know, you could pre-order stuff and watch it. The thing I'm trying to get to is, do you think that cinemas...
Yeah, clever, I see where you're going there, yeah.
Do you think cinemas will be, basically will die out due to the cinema game will be brought to you at home on your TV? Because TVs are getting bigger, technology is getting better, 3D TVs. Yeah. You know, you basically got the whole package sat in front. I know I've got it in my lounge. If I wanted to watch Dunkirk later and I had the choice, I'd go and do it in my lounge. But do you think cinemas will eventually die out and the premieres will be released for you to buy them, the opportunity to watch it once, at your own TV screen, 3D, surround sound, the whole package.
Yeah, you can usually, but you probably watch. I don't know if you can watch Dunkirk on Sky Store now. You certainly won't get the DVD through because it won't come through until the DVD's out. But I think you can watch it. Yeah, I just don't think you'll get the DVD for like fucking 6 months or whatever. But no, I definitely see your point. And if they don't fucking start reducing the prices for the sweets and shit, you know, they're already losing money from me because I get a Poundland before I go to the cinema. You get a load of sweets.
Take your stuff in, yeah.
And then I sort of, you know, wear a coat, wrap it round, look like a pregnant woman, and walk in with a load of sweets. I ain't paying their fucking price. But no, on a serious note, I mean, it's kind of, I suppose, it's kind of funny in it because we're all gonna. Well, I'm going to the cinema tonight. You might be coming to the cinema to me tonight to watch fucking Dunkirk. So we're kind of being. Look, I like going to the cinema. It's getting out, comfy chairs, massive screens. And I think going to the cinema is like an event. It's like a day out, isn't it? I would love going to the cinema.
You get that buzz of going.
Yes, I see what you mean. Tellies are amazing. Surround sounds are amazing. And it can feel like thing. But I still think people like going to the cinema. I still think people will like... Well, yeah, I don't know whether it is. I think you can basically, you're right, you can watch any film pretty much at home. You don't have to trek out to the cinema. But I do still think people like going to the cinema. Maybe in 20, 30 years, couple of generations' time, maybe not. But I think people still like going to the cinema. The older generation like it because it's what they always used to do when they were a kid. Our sort of generation still's like it. Yeah, exactly. But I do, you know, what is the first thing when people go, oh, what should we do? You know, when you're talking to someone. What's the first thing people bring up?
Cinema.
Let's go to cinema. You know, I still think it's popular. Is it as popular as what it is before? No, obviously I think it has died down in popularity, but that's probably because there's more stuff you can do when you go out. But I still think people love going to the cinema. I love going to the cinema. I'd go every week if fucking money was no object, which it is.
I know, like 10 quid for like a large popcorn. Are they honestly taking the mick?
Yeah, it actually costs you more. If you have a popcorn, popcorn, drink, you know, a hot dog, it will actually cost you more than the fucking film.
It's actually
ridiculous. Which is just an absolute bloody disgrace. And I think they'd make so much more goddamn money if they actually had it at reasonable prices. Because then you wouldn't get us going in and fucking smuggling it in. They don't even give a shit anymore. Odeon doesn't even... At Norwich, they don't even care. You know, I walk in with a Poundland bag now. I don't even have to hide it. And they just let you in. Because I think they even realise this is ridiculous, you know? It's just
yeah, the people behind the blooming cashier thing are like, why are you buying this? You've just spent 20 quid... when the blooming ticket for you to get in is like 12. So the final point that I do quickly want to bring up for my topic of overall TVs is the only time that I can really recall watching the news or looking at the weather is if I've been sat in the lounge and Dad's, because obviously, you know, farmer and that, he needs to know what the weather is. But the only time that I really watch the news is say if there's a big event that happens. The Westminster attacks, I was on Skype to you when it happened, and I went and put it on to see what was going on the news, because there's only so much that you can see online, you know, and you want to see the actual picture of it, but my problem is, I think that the weather and the news is so easy to look up in however many seconds on your phones or on the internet. You can see how hot it is, what the weather's like for next Tuesday on your phone or on the internet as easy as you like. Do you think that the, as I say, weather or the news will end up basically, I don't want to keep using the word, but dying out on TV as a part of something that you go to watch, or...
Well, the viewerships obviously like disintegrating. But because people want they want accessibility anyway, don't they? It's at the touch of a hand. Why would I go home and put the news on when I can get out my phone and fucking look at the news? I mean, the weather, I think a lot of people don't even fucking bother with the weather because they always get it fucking wrong, you know? It comes back to this point. I'm going to make a little point here and people are going to go, what the fuck, Cameron? But I just want to make this point because I've been wanting to make this point for a long time. And it's going to be very brief. You know, they try and convince us, and somebody very, very good said something about this, and I'm not copying his quote, but I'm kind of taking inspiration from it. You know, they can't even get the weather right? They can't even tell us what it's going to be like outside tomorrow, yet they try and convince us that we're somehow killing the planet
and that the planet's overheating and this and that, and the planet's going to end. They can't even tell us if we should be able to put the washing out tomorrow. When they can get the weather right for a week, I'll start believing these environmental scientists who are telling us that, you know, if we drive our fucking diesel car, we're going to fuck up the whole world. Start getting the weather right, and you'll start getting me trust. But they can't do it. Anyway, beside the point. But I do agree. Weather, news, it's all on, you can all view it on the thing. I still think people like listening to the news rather than reading it. Some people.
Yeah.
It's like with newspapers. Are they losing their thing because now people can just read it all online and every newspaper's online? But personally for me, I still like having something in my hand to read it. Yeah, it's like you could do this with everything. Books. Is it all a book's going to now just be online and you look at them on your Kindle? Again, I like reading a book and holding a fucking book, but I'm a bit of a traditionalist like that.
Yeah, I like looking at my little book stop of how far I've got through the book.
Yeah, so
I don't know why. That's just something that I like. Yeah, it's then I've only got however many pages to read.
Not that I actually read. Really, I've only really read one book in the last 5 years. So I don't know why I'm making out like I'm some sort of fucking avid reader. I don't read, but you know, when I do read, you know, the one time I have read a book, I've actually held it. So you know, that's really all I can say on that one. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think it's just the news and the weather on TV are just going to have to change. They're going to have to adapt, and they're going to have to try and make us want to watch more. And if they stop spreading fake news all the time and stopped reporting bullshit, biased bullcrap, and actually reported the truth, you know, then I think more people would actually watch them. I always say, you know, whatever the news tells you, think exactly the opposite, and you're probably closer to what actually happened than you are if you believe them. It's just a fucking disgrace, and that's why people watch alternate media. You know, and I know people go, well, yeah, but you know, stuff like Alex Jones, Breitbart, and there's obviously left-wing ones. They're all biased, but they admit to their bias. And you know, they do certify their sources. You know, the amount of stuff that actual proper news gets wrong is unbelievable. They're making apologies every day, but people don't read them. People don't see them because they don't publish them massively. But if you go to the website, they're getting stories wrong here, there, and everywhere. They're censoring stories. There's some stories they won't show us because they don't want to show us because it's not politically correct to show us. You know, it's not a politically correct story. It's just ridiculous. They're fake news, very fake news, as Donald Trump would say. But he's true. You know, whether you like him or not, you have to admit, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, there is so much fake news out there. It's unbelievable.
And that concludes my little topic of the video on TVs.
Right, so we've been kind of talking a little bit about this, I suppose, in this podcast. We've been talking about TV and stuff dying. And I want to talk about how actually we're all kind of already dead. All right, and I know you're sitting there thinking,
oh, God.
What? I've got a pulse. I'm alive. I mean, I can never find my pulse, so I mean, I don't know. I might actually be dead. But look, what I mean is that we are dead. We're like walking zombies. All right, we have no idea what is going on in the real world. We don't communicate. We don't talk anymore. Everything's done by text. Everything's done by messaging. Everything's all online. It's all artificial. We live these artificial lives. It's like living in a parallel universe. We pretend we're all this happy-go-lucky. Oh, look at me. I'm having so much fun here. I'm having so much... It's absolute bullcrap. Nobody is this happy. Nobody is this perfect. Nobody's life is this great. Social media is great. But we have become so dependent on it. And I speak from myself. I'm dependent on it in many ways. And I think it's such a shame. How many times do you go to a place, whether you go to a football match, a concert, anywhere? How many times do you see people standing there with their cameras and with their phones, recording it all? They're not experiencing it. We don't live anymore. We don't live in the moment. We live in, as a Katy Perry song says, and I don't like that lesbian bitch, but we live in a... But she's not a lesbian, so that wasn't like a, homophobic jab there. Well, she looks like one. Anyway, we're living in a bubble. We are living in an artificial bubble. We aren't fucking living. And you can see it because so many people our age you meet now cannot hold a conversation. They can't hold a conversation in a real world. They can't hold a conversation with an adult because they've been stuck on their phones. It's not just our generation. It's our, parents, even fucking grandparents now. It's just, next time, I'll ask you this question. Next time you're in a city, right, and you're walking down the street, look on the street, right? Just forget your phone for 1 second. Look at the street and just look at everybody. Everybody's head will be down, right? They'll be walking with people. You'll see husband and wife. You'll see husband, wife and kids. You'll see wife and kids. You'll see boyfriend and girlfriends. Everybody on their phone, texting, looking at the phone. The vast friggin' majority will be on a friggin' phone. It is constant. It is a dependency. And it is so sad because it means social skills. It means actually fucking talking to one another is almost a dead fucking art. And I say it, as I say, I'm not like throwing shots at everyone because I would literally be throwing shots at the world. I do it. I do it myself. You know, if I don't have my phone, I am fucking like, what the fuck? I can't cope. I can't, because I get my news, I get my weather, I get absolutely everything. You know, I'm on Twitter most of the day, etc. I think, but what I'm saying is we need to start talking again. We need to start having conversations. We need to stop living these fake fucking lives because they're so depressive. You put your phone down, you realise actually everything I'm putting on social media, it's just not real. It is complete. We literally live like 2 fucking lives. And I tell you this, and I've done it, and I haven't done it recently, but I did it at some point last year. I didn't use my phone hardly at all. Can you remember when I went blank from social media?
Yeah.
And admittedly, I was like fucking depressed as fuck at that point. And obviously that wasn't a particularly good example. But I can tell you that even though I was really, really low at that point, it was the greatest couple of weeks of my life. Not worrying about anything. You know, not having to worry about social media and the stupid, phony, fake arguments that happen there. You know, not worrying about it was just great. I could speak to people, communicate with people. You just feel so much. You can start to just sit in awe at what a wonderful world we live in. And I know, again, that sounds bent, you know, but go outside, look at nature, look at wildlife, you know. I'm scared of it, so if I see a fly, I'm fucking running the other way. If I see a bee, I'm running the other way. But it's that sort of thing. Smelling the grass. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we forget what outside smells like. Because when we're outside, we're still hooked on our phones. We're still texting. We're still doing this. Just have a look. Enjoy the world. Stop. The world is not just your phone. I know the world can feel like everything is on your phone because practically it is. But the wonderful, wonderful world of wildlife. Sounds really bent, doesn't it? But you know what I mean? The wonderful world that is out there that we live in every day and we take for granted is so fantastic. It's so beautiful. I hate that word. And we just take it all for granted. Speaking to one another, you know, having conversations properly rather than through text is so much better. And there's so many limitations to having conversations on text. And I'll let you speak in a minute, Lyle, because I realise I'm fucking spoke for about 5 minutes.
Nice. You're saying some good points.
Is that, you know, you can talk and it can create so many arguments as well because on text and stuff, it's very difficult to sense sarcasm. It's very difficult to sense. If I'm like, fuck you to Lyle and I send that on text, I mean, he probably knows with me it's sarcasm. But you can send that to some people and they don't know whether it's a fuck you as in, fuck you, you stupid little, you know what I mean? It's an aggressive way, whether it's a sarcastic way, whether it's a jokey way. It's very, very difficult to read because you haven't got that, the way they've said it. You don't hear it. It is literally just as it's fucking written. And it pisses me goddamn off. And it pisses myself off because I do it. I think it should be a challenge for us in the summer. And don't get me wrong, don't lose those Snapchat streaks. You know, log on, you know, at the start of the day, at the end of the day, so you can keep them. Yeah, I won't win. But seriously though, how ridiculous. I was depressed all day when we lost our Snapchat streak. It's just incredible. A dependence. It really is. But try and put your phone down and just try and just speak. You know what I mean? Just speak a little bit more. It is so much great. Deleting social media or using it as little as you can is the best fucking move you can do in your whole entire life. And I say that from personal experience, and I know people that have done it. Deleting Facebook. I don't really hardly ever use Facebook. Fantastic thing. One of the best things. I wish I could delete Snapchat. I wish I could delete Twitter. YouTube I don't really class as social media because there is a bit more interaction there, but it is just, Lyle, talk so I don't keep talking.
I completely agree with all of the points that you've been saying. It's just I've got a job that involves me being on the tills, and it's just speaking to people, whether it be that small talk that you do just to have a conversation with someone while you scan their plants through. It's just speaking to people and keeping it up, because you're right. You see people. I was on a driving lesson and I was about to turn down the road, and there's a bloke walking along, probably late 30s, 40s, literally glued to his phone. Didn't even look when he crossed the road. You know, and it does become dangerous. At some
but
point.
it is though. Like it's like a war zone, isn't it? It's like a war zone walking down a city.
Like you walk into someone.
Yeah, you know, people are walking into you, and I can't fucking stand people that walk and look at their phone.
Oh,
and
when they're stood in the bloody doorway.
I was moaning about it the other day, and then I fucking did it, didn't I? And walked straight into somebody. Yeah, I'm a complete hypocrite, but it's so annoying. You know, I mean, it's just so sad. I just think the saddest thing is how families now, and I sat there the other night, and, you know, my sister was down, not my fucking little sister, she was in bed, but she doesn't have a phone. She does have a tablet, and is a bit zombie-like when she's on it, so that goes back to my point earlier. Anyway, Erica was on a phone. Mum was on a phone. Simon was on his phone. And I was on my phone, and I just kind of put my phone down, and I just looked round, and it was just like, what the fuck? And it was, Erica was texting Mum, and they're opposite.
Oh, God.
You know, and that's what it's like now. Erica rings Mum. Hey, Mum, can you bring me up a drink? It's ridiculous. It is just ridiculous.
I do
back
go
in
out
the day,
of my way.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. But back in the day, sitting as a family, you would be sitting there, you'd be having a chat. How was your day? How is this now? Now it's all on text, no communication within. And that's why I think families break down so much. It's not the sole reason, but I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's why I think divorce rates are high. Family sort of problems there's loads of family problems, you know, like with brothers and sisters arguing and obscene, because people don't speak anymore. You know, at a meal, you know, so many families now, we do it. We just sit there, we have the telly on, nobody speaks. You know, nobody asks, oh, how was your day at work? How was your day at school? How was your day, Cameron? Doing nothing. Nobody asks those questions anymore. You know what I mean? And I think that's half the reason why stuff breaks down so much. And families can break down so much easier, because there's not that rapport. There's not that conversation. And I know we don't always want to fucking talk and have a conversation, but I just wish we all spoke a little bit more to each other. You know, it just makes me emotional.
I know exactly where you're coming from, being at the dinner table or whatever, just being on your phone while you're eating your dinner. And we have a rule in our family where you're not allowed any phones at the tea table. Right. And so then, you know, you're forced to make conversation, even if you don't want to. But why wouldn't you want to speak to your own goddamn family? Some people, it's completely beyond me. I don't really care, to be honest, what Liam's done at work today. But I still ask, if you see what... It sounds horrible, but...
No, but it doesn't even have to be that, so that you can talk about anything. You know, I think that's the best thing.
Like, football transfer news, we talk about at the tea table all the bloody time. Dad's blooming certain that Bale's coming to United. He's not.
The best thing, and I know I'm going to sound at you like this, people are going to be watching and thinking, Cameron, you're 17, you're acting like a 60-year-old who knows, you know, and is wise and all this. But seriously, we don't sit at the dining table, but I can tell you, families that sit at the dining table and have that chat at the dining table and that kind of family time, and it's 30 minutes a day, you know, everybody, you know, is eating, so you may as well do it. They're so much better, they're so much happier, and they always say, best thing we ever done, all sitting at the dinner table together, putting phones down, not having the TV on, eating, having a chat, best thing we ever done. Closer as a family, you can iron out things, you know, you can say, you know, for God's, you know how pit or moan, within families you have little bickerings and nobody says anything to anyone. We can bring them up. You can say, look, who left their shit in the toilet last night? You know, we need to start flushing the fucking toilet. But you can bring it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, with my family, I don't know about yours, Lyle, there's fucking arguments because of stuff the other person's put on Facebook. The fucking girls, my cousins, that there's like, I've got, you know, it's not as bad, me and Jamie and Josh and that, you know, the boys, the lads. I've never called us that. I just want to put that out there. I don't know why I fucking said that. Can we edit that bit out, Lyle?
Sure.
We're gonna edit that bit out. We'll edit that bit out. Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Okay.
But the girls are fucking horrific. You know, they'll stop talking because on Snapchat somebody's put something about the other person, and it's just a joke. Mum and my sister are like it. Not my sister. Mum and her sister are like it. Arguing over stuff they've put on Facebook. It's just like, for fuck's sake. I don't get, but then I do it as well, I suppose. And I mean, I am hypocritical. And the thing is, I say all this, but I couldn't live without my phone. I couldn't do it.
I thought you were going to say you couldn't live without your family.
Well, no, I don't think I could. Well, no, I couldn't. But I couldn't live, and that's the other thing. And then when you always hear these people that, terrible things happen and they lose their family, or, family breaks up in some way, not necessarily the family dies, or there might, somebody might die, and they would give anything to have a proper conversation. We need to, look, we all take stuff for granted, of course we do. I don't expect, some people go, you should never take, for granted eating. I don't expect people to eat and think about the African children and the people on the streets that are starving in our country that haven't got any food. I don't expect people every time they eat a mouthful to feel fucking guilty about that, because that's just not realistic. We do take things for granted, but we should try and, talk to our family and appreciate them more and have that thing with them more, because you never know when it's going to end. You never know when you're not going to get that opportunity again. And yes, not always, it's not always possible. And yes, we're always going to take things for granted, and we can't feel guilty about everything we do. And sometimes there's going to be problems with work and that, and you can't sit down as a family. But having that little bit of 20-minute family time where you just have a chat, etc., is so fucking good. It really, really is.
Honestly, I don't know if our families come from different generations, but having the arguments over what people have said on social media, I don't think that's ever happened in my family. I don't think...
No, that's probably just my fucking
as well as that,
mine's fucked up. Yeah.
Mum's not on social media.
Yeah.
Dad's not on social media. My auntie and uncle aren't on social media. I think my auntie is, but don't go on Facebook anyway.
But it probably does happen with your cousins. Do you know what I mean?
Like
there's probably disagreements in that regard. I'm not saying big things, because you probably don't. Especially if you don't have many girls. The girls are the worst with it.
There's like 3 girls in the whole of my family.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just a joke. It really, really is. I wish it was different. But at the end of the day, as I say, I'm a hypocrite because I'm on my phone all the time. I've got my phone open now. I've got to have it with me because I don't like not having it with me, because what if I miss the latest transfer? What if I miss the latest news?
Honestly, we should try going without our phone for like a week. I've done it before. I lost my phone for a week. It's fine. I honestly couldn't care less if I didn't have my phone. But if I went out, if I'm going to go out to the city later and didn't have my phone and end up getting hurt or anything, that's what I say.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just, you have your phone, obviously, so if you need to contact people, that's not a problem. What I'm saying is, basically don't go on social media. Don't use it. Only use it for what phones were made originally for, which was communicating with people.
Maybe there's too much stuff on phones.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is, but at the end of the day, that's what people want, isn't it? You want everything on your phone. You can do everything on your phone now. Name me something you can't do on your phone. You can do practically fucking anything on your phone now. News, weather, type out essays, read books, buy stuff, watch videos, watch TV, talk to somebody, record things. You can do everything. A phone's a camera. It's absolutely everything. And that's a great thing, and also a really bad thing at the same time. I know a lot of people probably know what I'm talking about, but next time you're in the city, do it. Look and just see how many people are just glued to their phone. It is just a joke. And it is making us so brainwashed and so dead. And that's why I think so many people don't have so much energy, because it zaps the energy out of you. I think it'll be hilarious. I know I shouldn't laugh about this, but can you just imagine that we all start dying off in sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 years because looking at a phone has taken off. Basically looking at a phone means, I don't know, there's some sort of chemical and it fucks you. But there is that. And it does, and it's been scientifically proven that it can ruin your brain, it can increase your chance of getting cancer. For all we know, people going, life expectancy's going up. We've pretty much grown up with phones. Maybe people that have grown up with phones aren't going to be able to live past 40. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows what these bloody fucking things that I'm holding right now are transmission, what they're giving off, what radiation who fucking knows, It's a scary thought, but at the end of the day, I love my phone, so,
It's never, we could have the conversation all day, it's just, if I do end up going to the city later, I'm just going to record, see how many people we can see.
Yeah, and then we might be able to put that in the podcast.
Yeah, we'll try.
If we can.
But
yeah, I think we'll probably end the topic there because, as you say, it's one that you can go on all day. And all I'd say to people listening is just have a think about it. Have a think about it. Just think about the dependency. Think about and I'm not saying make massive drastic changes to your life because I probably will after watch this, but it's just an interesting thing to discuss and to talk about and just to look at next time you're out, just for 2 seconds, just having a look around and just seeing. And what I'm trying to get at, I'm not trying to be some inspirational fucking thing, but talk more to people, have chats, do that thing called talking that we seem to neglect at the moment. Because talk, and I don't care what anyone says. When you're feeling shit and that, if you talk to somebody about it and properly talk, is so much better than messaging somebody about it. Messaging somebody about something's great and it can really help, but actually having a proper human conversation and having that human interaction is fantastic. And it is crazy that we are basically turning into dead robots. We are turning into the robots. So that is going to be it for this podcast. A little bit of a shorter one. I realise the topics have been a bit all over the place. We will try and have a little bit of a better sort of structure to the next podcast. We have got one that we want to do. We'll just tell you a couple of topics that we're thinking of. Lyle, if you've got them by hand, have you written down anywhere? If you just run through them. But before you do that, I'll just give you a bit of time to get prepared. Follow us on our social medias. You can follow us on Twitter. This is just ridiculous, isn't it? I'm being a hypocrite here. I'm being a fucking hypocrite here. Follow us on our social medias because that is where we live our life. We no longer live our life in spirit. We live our life on the computers, on the phone. But add me on Snapchat if you want to chat, messaging chat, you know what I mean, eh? Add us on Snapchat, Twitter. It's all there. Subscribe to each of our YouTube channels. Make sure you leave a comment down in the comments below. If you want to join in the discussion, join in the discussion on Twitter.
Let us know about more topics.
In the comments. Yeah, topics. We need suggestions. We spent a whole 3-hour Skype call yesterday discussing topics and really got nowhere. It wasn't until Lyle got in the shower where he came up with some great topics. So we need topics massively. Any suggestions that you've got would be fantastic. We appreciate the suggestions, obviously, that came last week, but the more, the blimmin' merrier. Lyle, you got those topics that we if anything, you listen to anything Lyle says and think, I really like you to do that, make sure you let us know. But this is what is coming up in the future on this channel.
We've
series, podcast back.
We've obviously got a podcast that we want to do based around football. There'll probably be multiple ones based around football, talking about recent events. If anything happens in the news that we think is willing of doing a podcast and sharing our thoughts about, we will be sure to do that. Stuff about UFOs and alien life, once again, giving our thoughts about that. Q&As, we'll see if we can get you guys to drop comments down below, and we'll basically just answer them. We also are planning to do, we choose, say, Cam chooses 5 videos for me, and I choose 5 videos for Cam, and we basically react to our old videos. That'll be something that we would like to do. We're also looking into doing one about the moon landing and how it could have been faked. Also paranormal, afterlife, ghosts, spirits, and our personal experiences based on that. Also maybe one...
sorry to interrupt, that'll probably be a bit like the moon landing one. We'll do it'll be like a mini series. We'll do a load of conspiracy theories, and the paranormal one will probably be multiple podcasts because there's so many different aspects to that. Sorry to interrupt. And
we've also got end of the world, heaven, hell, stuff like that. Once again, afterlife. We've also got one that we really want to do about a old series that we used to do called Wrestling at Home. We really want to do that, get some of the old people back for different segments of the podcasts, and basically just reviewing how we used to do it.
Memories, stories, funny stories. It should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that one.
We also want to do a podcast where we interview each other, so then you can find a little bit more about both me and Cam, a little bit more personal. How the music industry is changing and how the more money is getting pumped into music, how basically it's changing and different stuff like that. A little bit more of a serious one focusing on mental health. We want to do one about that. And the prisons and the legal system in England and how it's compared to different countries. And also maybe one of things that we all used to do as children. And one, once again, maybe in a few months' time about phones and stuff like that. Again, I think we covered that mostly in this podcast, but it could be potentially one that we go back to at a later date.
Of funny, light-hearted ones to do, talking about a little bit more personal, when we were younger, and discovering various stuff on the internet. I think you'll probably get the drift. We'll probably bring somebody else in for that podcast, just a funny podcast, probably bring back some memories yourselves, and just be a bit sort of a funny one. So we've got at the end of the day, I know we've just gone, we haven't got
and the
topics,
school and the education system as well.
Yeah, that's another one we want to do. I mean, we have got loads of topics. It's just finding the right one at the right time. The paranormal ones, for example, we probably want to do those more sort of October time.
Yeah.
Any suggestions are welcome. If you want to be a guest at all, that's fantastic as well. By all means, we can let you on.
Also, if any of these topics that I've just mentioned really taste your buds and would like to see them maybe next time, drop them down below. Any of the ones that I've just mentioned, and
or let us know on Snapchat, Twitter,
yeah.
if you'd rather do it that way. If you haven't got a YouTube thingy, what's it called, YouTube account. So but I think that's pretty much it in it, Lyle, unless you've got anything else to say.
That's all, I think.
Thank you for joining us for the second podcast, the People's Podcast. Thanks to Sam, if he is still listening, for giving us that name. And if you have got to this point in the podcast, we very, very much appreciate you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to get to this point. It really, really is. Yeah, it means a lot to us both to do that. We enjoy these podcasts. I think it's just a different type podcast to the first one. Better or worse, I don't know. I suppose it's personal taste. As we do more of these, we'll get more. We'll get more better. That was really good grammar. We'll get better at them, and hopefully we can. I think it's a bit more lighthearted and a bit more jokey and stuff like that today. So we'll just see. We'll see where this goes. To say the football podcast will probably be a separate podcast completely. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this podcast. If you have, make sure you drop a like on both our channels. Subscribe if you're new around here. Follow us on our fucking social medias. And he said Snapchat fucked it up. And until next time, enjoy your day. Enjoy the summer holidays. Hopefully it's sunny outside, because it ain't outside my window. Thanks for watching. I'll see ya next time. Boom! I don't know why I said that, but it just felt right.